anymore. So it's really an important time right now, and it's kind of like we're moving into a little bit of a storm, but it's a different kind of a storm. And so it's going to feel energetically a little unusual, and it's going to feel intense, okay, at moments, but then it goes into a more of a non-conflict energy, because I think there is some astrological aspects with being in the sign of Pisces that might be chilling out some certain energies, okay? And they might be helping the collective or working for the collective right now, because Pisces is more of the chill, like I'm gonna chill, but I'm also fiery, but chill energies, okay? So I think that that's kind of what we're entering into. So what we're going to be feeling for the people who are most in tune to what's going on politically in the United States, we're going to be feeling a lot of the Trump presidency coming up right now because of him being on the presidential ballot and because of the 2024 presidential election. I'm almost getting a trauma energy coming up from the collective in regards to this election, because there is a fear in regards to the insurrection that happened on our country right now. And I think it's almost like an underlying alarm bell energy that is kind of like not sitting well with a lot of people, probably military people in higher places. But I feel an energy of like a trauma coming up in regards to the insurrection and this upcoming election. So I feel like those energies are going to come back up again. And I don't think that the insurrection is going to be able to sit in the space that it has. The report that was done by the special counsel on the insurrection, that report might start coming up more and more. We might start seeing a lot more of that information coming to light. Now, I have officials coming in around that report. There could be even more information that hasn't come up, okay, in regards to the insurrection, okay, because I am seeing, I believe is it Charles Flynn? Is that the brother of General Mike Flynn? Okay, so I'm seeing these energies around the Flynns coming up really strongly right now, and so I have the Four of Swords coming in with that. There could have been something that hasn't come up yet. It's a sitting energy, and it might have to come to the light in some way. I just feel like there are pockets of energies where the truth still have not come to the light, and maybe there are certain people that was privy to some information, and I don't know if it's going to be them that's going to be bringing it into the light in some way, but I am feeling an energy of well, we really like a mess, like we screwed up. Like I'm getting an energy like that from the country. Like there are certain people that are like, we really messed up right now. If that realization hadn't come in previously, it's coming in now in hindsight. Like we really made some major missteps as a country. Like I feel like reviews are going to be coming in terms of, and this is not necessarily physical reviews in the 3D. This could be even like spiritual reviews coming in regards to our national security, in terms of our military, in terms of any type of or form of infiltration. I keep seeing shows rerunning in the back of my mind of Rachel Maddow, how she was covering specific people and situations and did a lot of investigative work. That energy is coming back up around. Like that work isn't going to sit. Like it's gonna come back up. Like everything during that Mueller time period feels like it's going to come back up. Books are going to start coming back up. People who wrote books that were working within the Trump White House, it feels like it's not going to sit anymore, because we can clearly see now the thread of what actually happened and the connections to these foreign dignitaries, okay? And so I think a lot of that's going to come up. Even some stuff has been coming up in regards to the NRA, the Parkland, is it Parkland or Parkhurst? I can't remember if it was Parkland shooting. That's it. That was in Florida. A lot of things were happening, and it's kind of like, were they connected, okay? The Notre Dame church in Paris went on fire. There was a lot of things. And now in hindsight, I feel like there was a lot of things that were indicating almost like a spiritual war that was happening, okay? And it just feels like there is just a lot of stuff that I feel the truths haven't come out yet. The truths haven't come out. I watched the movie Willy Wonka yesterday, and it was very eye-opening. It felt like it was a snapshot of everything that has been happening right under our eyes. Willy was the victim of, Arthur, I can't think of the last name of him. Anyways, but he's the victim of basically an elite kind of group that essentially takes it to the next level, and in their movies they made other references, but it felt like there was other messages that were going on. I was also getting messages in regards to the New World Order and who is running that New World Order. Now, before, when we were making a shift into the Biden presidency, I was seeing a lot of energies around New Earth energies. Okay, I was actually seeing this beautiful energies of New Earth energies. It felt really beautiful and positive. I was seeing almost like rainbow energies and these timelines going out that were syncing us up back to our soul missions, our divine missions, why we were born, why we came here, our purpose. And because of a lot of the manipulation of energies and people who are in power, many of us don't actually serve or move into our destiny in these lifetimes. And there are people that have experienced near-death experiences, and they have had in their dream that the life that they had set out for themselves was not the life that they actually lived. And I've gotten those similar messages myself that I have felt like there was something that missing from me. In fact, I had went and drove into Santa Monica, maybe a year ago, and I remember feeling my soul again. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't felt my soul in so long. And I was like, oh my God, I felt like a shift, like something shifted in me. And I was like, am I supposed to be here right now? Why is my soul here? And then I was thinking to my dreams in 2021, and I was in Santa Monica a lot in my dreams, and I felt that something pretty dark had happened to me in the dream state or in the physical world that might have been connected to that area. But I felt that connection back, like I'm not in my correct life somehow because of what happened to me, because I was a victim of what I've talked about, which is, I don't really want to go into it, but because I was a victim of some form of spiritual warfare. But dialing back, a lot of that stuff, like I said, it was infiltrated or blocked. The New Earth energies were being blocked because I feel like there was this threat of this new presidency coming in and possibly figuring everything out, right? And I felt like there was also intentional sabotaging of information, which I was having dreams about, of them destroying papers and things like that, that would essentially set the next presidency up for failure. Okay, I was getting a lot of dreams, and I was getting a lot of messages around that they were messing with a lot of stuff internally, that they kind of had reorchestrated things and things like that, so that it might be very challenging for a new administration to come in and find out everything or figure things out. And I feel like that was a lot of the messaging I was getting early on in the presidency. But then I started to see the New Earth timelines and everything just kind of dissipating out, you know what I mean? And so that was kind of startling to me, and I started to see some other stuff coming in the astral realms, which came in the form of what felt like almost like military-esque Cyclops energies, okay, that would be blocking out the light in some kind of way, almost like biodome energies that were manufactured in some kind of an interdimensional space, okay? Also, welcome to everybody who's here. I saw Michelle was here, Polly. Thank you guys for coming in. I really appreciate you guys showing up right now. And so I remember seeing that. I also remember seeing a dark sorcerer coming through connected to another country. And I was seeing a lot of stuff they were doing, manipulating things, manipulating energies. And I talked about it very candidly on Patreon and on here. I was actually saying, I think this is what's going on right now. I think we're under some kind of spiritual warfare. And shortly after that was the announcement of the invasion of Ukraine, okay? And then announcing the Ukraine war. And that's when everything started to shift. And I thought it was interesting because there was a very pinnacle time frame where Elon was, there was a report on him taking 2 Russian billionaires up to space, okay? And that was right around that same time frame. And then, of course, Ukraine then, when their power went out, they had to use another system, and Elon volunteered Starlink, correct? Is it Starlink? Is that the system? And that to me was always just like an interesting thing, okay? Like, it just felt very interesting to me. Now, as far as the new, the New World Order, okay? It feels like the people who are at the top of the New World Order are part of that world domination crew, okay? And it feels like it is a male, okay, world order coming through, and that's why Trump is running on that dictatorship narrative. And it feels like it is being run by the people in space that are in the space, that are part of those space agendas, that are the elites. And it feels like it is that energy of this new world order coming through. I see Elon at the top of it. I don't know why. That's what I see. So I'm going to just ask if he is at the top of this new world order. But it is a Cyclops energy that they're trying to bring in. It feels very connected to Gates. It feels very connected to Zuckerberg. It feels very connected to all of them. You know what I mean? It feels like the whole crew is involved in it. And it's global, so it's a different landscape. So we're used to going after one country, right? Or not one country, I don't want to say that. We're used to going after the country that is the biggest threat to us, okay? In this landscape, it's a global threat, okay? It's a global threat, so it's interesting because it's going to be many countries pinning up against other countries in a way. It might not even be countries against countries. I should not even say that. It might not even be countries against countries. It's going to be, it might be more empires against the world, okay? It might take us out of our countries, this energy. And in some way, that is kind of part of our ascension as a collective, because we are being forced to look at things from a higher perspective, a bigger perspective, a global perspective versus just our country, okay? It is seeing ourselves as many instead of one. Now, there was a lot of farmers that went on strike in several different countries, and it was kind of these similar energies where it was the masses trying, rising against this control, okay, control over the food, okay? And this is a really big thing that's coming up because food is how we survive, and so it's a bigger form of, I don't know how do I say that? it's much bigger, okay? It's even a form of warfare, food. If you look at that, food is a form of warfare. So if they get the food, that's a huge, problem. So if you look at it in terms of that, that's how big the farmers were looking at it as, okay? They're looking at it as the food of the country, okay? And that's how they came through and really rallied and came together for what they felt was right and releasing that control over the farming industry, okay? So it's really important right now for us to see things in that global picture, that global perspective, because we're all going to start to see the connection and the threads and how we are going to be coming together in regards to their planned new world order, okay? So let me just ask messages around this if Elon is involved in this new world order. So I'm calling in messages is Elon involved in this new world order? So I have a situation coming up with him right now, a Knight of Wands, feels like an emergency situation with a Tower reverse. So, and a Three of Wands reverse. So there could be something that is in some way, I don't know. I almost like stopping that from happening in some way right now with the Ten of Wands coming in. So this could be something that we are going to be figuring out. But in the movie Willy Wonka, back to the movie, they were kind of showing in that movie, they were using chocolate almost as a substitution for money, okay, if you want to put it in that way. And they had, the priests involved, which I feel like were symbolic of the Vatican. And they had a lot of symbolism in the writing of everything that's going on right now. And if you went all the way to the bottom of this one, I guess, chocolatier, there were the plans, okay, for the world order. And that's kind of how it was showing how everything would be running. And I felt like it was very symbolic of the new world order and who was running the show. And if you follow any kind of social media or Instagram, they kind of laid out who's at the top and the tiers of how the world is run. And it was interesting because they had that same type of imagery in that film. So if you don't watch the film, I don't know, it might be interesting for you to kind of look at it in a new perspective or a new lens. But a lot of it was them trying to seek this information that was all kept in a book. It was in a green book, okay? And I felt like that green book was very symbolic in terms of information that is missing, okay? But it feels like it is there. I have that hummingbird showing up right now as I'm saying that. I have felt very strongly there is evidence. There's key evidence of what happened to the world. There is evidence of crimes, okay? There's evidence of it. It is just us now having to figure out where the information is and finding the information. But I have felt very strongly that there is information that has been set aside that people are supposed to find. And I'm getting chills on that. And that information is a key probably to the US 2016 election. And it's also a key probably to other things. I'm hearing COVID-19 right now. And there is a key. And it's like people have the information. And that's the stuff. I have some crooked CEOs coming up here. I feel very strongly right now that this stuff isn't going to sit. And it has to come to the light. I have justice coming through here. There is some interesting stuff. I was talking about some stuff earlier today with Adam the astrologer. We just were taking a look at the astrological planets and the moon, and there is a powerful new moon coming in on the 25th going into Libra. That's interesting because Libra is all about the scales of justice, and I have justice coming in just now as I'm saying that. So that could be really a powerful energy for us. Look, I have the moon coming through. So what I'm feeling very, very strongly is that this energy is going to come up. We have the Tower because there are people seeking out this evidence. People are looking for the evidence right now. People are looking for the information. They need the information. We're at a Ten of Swords right now. And so it feels like we might have thought there was no evidence. We might have thought it was gone. But now what's surfacing up, okay, as a result of some of these eclipse energies that have come up, as a result of even the supermoon that just passed, it's like there is stuff going to be coming to light, and there is evidence of these attacks. Okay, there's evidence of them. I'm getting that just so strongly right now. So there we go, Tower coming through. So I think that a lot of people might have, I don't want to say have given up in some way or moved into a more passive energy that they didn't have as much control or they weren't able to find what they needed to find. And that feels like it's shifting. We're going into the Tower energies right now. So because we're moving into the Tower, moving into almost like the heart of it, like the storm of the energies, and it's taking me right back to Manhattan. Okay, it takes me right into Manhattan. So I have had dreams, a lot of dreams, okay, over the course of this channel in regards to Manhattan. I've had a lot of stuff come up in my readings in regards to Manhattan, but I don't know if I'm really going to mention the dream that I had last night, but it just feels like there was an infiltration of sorts into Manhattan. I have a Seven of Swords reversed and some stuff that was done that was not okay. There was an announcement today that Rupert Murdoch just got engaged to the wife, the ex-wife of a Russian oligarch, and that's not a coincidence. And we all know what's going on. And it's kind of like obvious at this point, right? It's kind of like in our faces, these connections and what is going on. I was looking up the backers and the donors of Ted Cruz in 2015, and the Mercers came up in that. Okay, we had talked about the Mercers. We talked about Rupert Murdoch. We had talked about a lot of the money behind Fox, okay, and a lot of the media that has gone out. To this day, the media is still bought, okay? The Guardian is donation, and then there's a lot of other free media. I know on YouTube there is Midas Touch that talks about a lot of these breaking stories, and they follow the court cases very closely. And it's just really important for Americans to start listening to free media versus paid media. That could be another shift that starts coming in. Maybe it starts coming in maybe next month. Maybe some people are going to wake up to the fact that they have been fed fake storylines, okay? I don't even think half of Trump's base would know that many of the people that were at those rallies were paid actors. To know that they had paid actors pretending and being things that they were typically supposed to model their behavior after, it could be startling to some people. They could feel like they were duped in some way. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, that you really can't break into that you can't break into MAGA. You can't really break into that thinking anymore. You know, it's really hard to break into. But a lot of people who were former MAGAs, okay, are now talking to people who are currently MAGA. And that's interesting because they're coming then from a similar perspective because they were once them. So it could be coming in a different way. It might be coming in not necessarily left versus right. It might be coming in from people who were former Trump supporters, who were at all of those rallies, who were a part of all of it, that are now communicating to current Trump supporters, okay, that are telling them the facts and the truth, okay. That could be more of how we see a break in that storyline or that dialogue or into that thinking in some way, okay. So it could be coming in other ways. So let me think about some other stuff. If there's anything else, let me know if there's anything that you are thinking about or anything that, as I'm talking about this, that you're curious about, or any thoughts that are coming to mind as I'm mentioning this stuff. But it's going to keep circulating back. I can't. It keeps going back to Havana syndrome. It's going back to Eric Prince. It's going back to Betsy DeVos. It's going back. Like, everything's coming back up. And I don't know how it's coming up right now, but it is coming up. I have the Three of Pentacles coming up. All of his generals are coming up. It's going to go through all the generals. I can see them all. It's going to be all three of the freaking generals. It's going to be Mattis, it's going to be Coates, and it's going to be McMaster. They're all going to be coming in. I know they are. I know they're coming in. I can see it all. I can see it freaking all. It is all coming to the light, and it's uncomfortable. I have the devil coming in right there. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to leave you there. We have the Tower coming in. It feels like a rewind, okay? It feels like a rewind of everything coming in. It almost feels like we're going back in some way to the presidency somehow. I don't know if it's because of new evidence that's coming to light, but it does feel like it is a full-on betrayal of the United States of America, and that's what it feels like energetically. It feels like a betrayal. Yeah, on a level that is really uncanny. There we go. We have an emergency situation kind of coming to light right now. Knight of Wands energies. So I will leave you guys there. I would love to hear your feedback on this. I didn't know what to name it because there's just so much.